And now it looks like Bomber, finally done watching the replay, is in the game, and we are going on to Moon versus Bomber, game number 2. As you said, it will be Tal Doreen Alter. A very large map. What will the positions be? Oh, Moon is going to be delighted about this. It's cross-map positions. In the top left, we have the Red Zerg from Team We Made Fox, a Warcraft 3 reigning champion. It is Moon! And in the bottom right, the man who was all but gone and dead from the last match, but showing that anything is possible when you have control like his. We have Star Tails, Bomber!
And Bomber did drop a game in the group stages versus HeyPro, so he's not invincible in this matchup. And overall, his record against Zerg is 71%, which is quite a good result, really. I mean, overall. And then if we look over at Moon, really, 63% overall. And that's still a good record. But the way that Terran has been dominating so much in Korea recently, Bomber surely will be thinking that he has a good advantage here. And Moon will be sending the first overlord in the south location, will not be able to scout straight away, obviously because of this cross-map positions. And will we see that aggressive in the macro-orientated style from Bomber?
Whoa, that was a little bit of a weird opening by Bomber. Generally, you either see the supply depots as part of the wall-off, going for attack play, or you see a 2 barracks at this front to secure a fast early expansion. Bomber, interestingly, placing the supply depot behind, getting the refinery. Perhaps he's just going to try to squeeze a factory in here and do the double Hellion play. We saw Happy play a great game against HeyPro with that very opening.
And that's, I mean, the way that Happy used that style early on was very, very aggressive with those Hellions and took so much damage over to HeyPro. And unfortunately for HeyPro, lost so much, but will Moon lose to that same mistake, or will he be able to defend against that? And as you can see, the refinery is still done. Or will Bomber decide to go for, he could even go for a very similar style, even Cloak Banshee. And you've got to think that not only do we have this style of play coming out from both players, there's a lot of mind games going through both of these players' thoughts as well.
There's the supply depot going down for Bomber. Not going to do any sort of barrack sneak in the way that is commonly seen in TVP. Moon, once again, the Apollo going for that extractor spawning pool play, opting for the incredibly, incredibly fast spawning pool speed upgrade for the Zergling. We see almost having enough energy for a factory. And it looks like there he is going to be going for it. And again, this placement really suspicious looking. Should be going for a double Hellion opening.
And we'll have to follow the gas of Bomber here. He's up to 40 gas now. As he hits that 50 mark, will he be added on the reactor? It's going to tell us exactly what's going on. And we do see the reactor there.
And there's the bunker rush going on for Bomber. It looks like Moon will be pulling a lot of SCVs, even pulling one off gas. Wait a minute, Moon doesn't even have SCVs. He's pulling drones off, and it looks like does not manage to pick off that SCV. And what is the whole purpose of this is just to force Zerglings, delay the spine crawler, which is the bane of Hellion pressure, and to maybe pick off some free units.
And yeah, that free unit, one link has gone down, though he has enough links out now. 5 in total chasing down these both means. Moon should be looking to punish both of these, and it looks like he will be going straight into attacking that. And over now in Bomber's base, we have that switch up with the factory and barracks. A little bit slow with that, but behind it we do have the command center. And this is the exact same build, like you said, that we saw Happy use so well against HeyPro in the early stages of this tournament.
We see that there's only 2 units lost right now for Bomber, but overall has lost more resources. Oh no, it looks like an Overlord was killed off on the map. Right now it looks like Moon trying to advance forward, but he is supply blocked. Going to put him behind a little bit, and oh no, Moon got way too overeager with those Zerglings, and he is going to lose all of these for free. Oh, great split by Moon.
Yeah, great split there by Moon. Is going to take minimal damage. These Hellions do try to chase him down. 10 links in production though. And this is a difference between when we saw HeyPro try to defend against this. He didn't really get those links out fast enough. He tried to squeeze in another round of drones, but Moon here did get a round of links in, 10 in total, and Speed has now finished. Spinecrawler not really going to be used unless these Hellions do wait, or they are going to go in, but Moon should be looking for us around here.
Oh, this is very dangerous for Bomber. One of the main reasons why players do expand and then go gas pool like this, they can get a lot of speed Zerglings up to do big surrounds, but does he have enough Zerglings? Oh, he certainly does. Swarming around. The only thing that really gets picked off is the tree, and Bomber loses all the Hellions very easily.
And if we look at the supply cap, and again, Moon supply capped here at 44, having to build 4 Overlords at once now to redeem himself, and that is not good at all. And the unit tab, sorry, 32 drones versus 28 SCVs. The second orbital command is going down, and we actually see a third orbital command in the side of Bomber's base here.
There's the classic 3 orbital command play on this map, but notice that Bomber swapped the reactor for the factory and then gave it back to the barracks, and then upon losing those Hellions realized, man, he might actually lose to this early pressure. Did the swap again, now finally landing, will begin that tank production as well. Almost causing a wall off. That actually could be a big problem if Mutalisks pop up later on. But who needs to build Mutalisk when you can just go straight for a Ling, Baneling bust early?
Indeed, and 30 Lings about to be popping out. One Ling does go in, sees one bunker. Does he get vision of the other one? And yes, he does get vision of the second bunker too. And will these Hellions be enough? And the siege mode is a long time away. And only just beginning to start the factory. Moon could very well bust him here. We have a lot of Banelings being morphed on the right-hand side here. Will Moon be able to crack this defense? And it will be extremely hard without this siege tech.
This is going to be a ridiculously close match, but look at Bomber already constricting that front with a supply depot. We see the tech lab going down with the Marine, and uh-oh, it looks like the tank is actually being rallied to the other side. This is going to help a lot. This means that Bomber, even though he might take a lot of damage, will still have a second line defense. Will he lose too much? Bunkers are full right now. Does Bomber see it? Now he does. Banelings moving in from 2 angles. Can he pick them off? Oh no, getting a lot of Banelings. Amazing control there by Bomber. Banelings trying to rush in. Tons of Zerglings surround. No siege mode yet. And there the bunkers do fall. Only thing remaining is one single tank. And Moon again with the huge SCV kills.
Wow, so many SCV kills now. 2 tanks, they both have siege mode now, but he doesn't really want to go into siege because he would kill all of these SCVs, but it doesn't matter anyway, they're going down. And looking at that, 14 SCVs killed now for Moon, and he's going to get the orbital command into red.
Oh, lifting up. He needs to return back and repair that immediately. Losing 1 orbital command is going to absolutely seal the deal for Moon. We see at the expansion, it is up, getting more gas geysers. Moon in a great position. We see Banelings continuing to roll out, but with that siege mode, it will be very tough. Almost under 100 health at that orbital command. This is going to be an extremely difficult return situation for Bomber. He does have the fortunate benefit of having this early 3rd orbital command, but he is already running low on minerals in his main, the medevac. Now finishing, we do see that oh gosh, all these refineries outside the front getting taken out as well. Lots of Zerglings, and Moon setting himself up. Look at the unit counting station, 48 drones to 34 SCVs.
And he has a long time of his own comfort zone now. Adding on 6 more drones. In total, we have 54 with 4 in production, so 54 drones now. And it's got a long time, like I said. There's no way that Bomber could put any pressure back on to Moon. He can easily get up to that 70, 80 drone mark, which we've seen Zerg players love to get towards. And as soon as they hit that, they have complete control in the map. And now slowly but surely, Bomber will try to regain this with the use of these siege tanks. Should be able to get back up there. But look at that Zergling spread across the map. Sean sees everything.
Moon in an absolutely dominating position. Interestingly, the wounded orbital command returns back to the home, and the 3rd command center ends up poking forward to take the natural. We do see Moon now is building the spine crawlers, and I love this decision making by Zerg in this spot. When you are ahead, it is more than reasonable to spend that little bit of extra money making sure that you don't lose to anything like a drop that you wouldn't be expecting. Spire now going down. The only real issue for Moon is that he has all these Zerglings in a useless spot outside the front. Would be much better back home for defense as they are speedy enough to move around. But look at the active scouting by Moon at every single base. He is not going to let a snuck orbital command cause him a silly loss.
And he's not going to see this drop incoming by Bomber, though he does have a spine crawler in position on that 3rd base. And well, does he have any units? 24 Lings in production right now. And they will be coming out. Where the waypoints to these hatcheries are, they are on the natural too. So hopefully he will be able to defend this quite easily here.
Moon gets an early advantage, but will he lose it as happened in the previous game? Uh-oh, some free overlords advancing forward. One drone will get picked off, and there's Bomber with the sprint. If he can kill anything at all, he will be happy. Needs to be careful about that Baneling, and wow, picking it off, losing 2 Marines. No, losing only 1 Marine. Will he pick off another overlord? Wow, Bomber able to do some great damage.
No way is he going to get that Queen. Not quite. And now he does pick up, though. But Mula's production only just starting, so it's going to be hard to get rid of that Medivac Queen. Trying to move down to see if he can get some damage onto it. But Bomber now is going to retreat while getting his 3rd base up. Wow. Crawling back into this. So look at the unit tab, though. 73 Jones versus 52 SCVs. And the gas count is so high for Moon right now because he got this 3rd base and that 3rd extractor very, very easily. Early on, he's going to have so many Mutalisks out now and a lot of upgrades.
The other big number to look at in that unit counting station is the 6 tanks. Those are going to very, very much so swing the favor towards Bomber as they climb up to the 10 count. Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk struggles quite a bit in a direct engagement, but we've seen Moon more than happy to deal with the counterattack. How will Bomber respond? Given the fact that Moon is in this easy, luxurious position where he can take a 4th hatch without any struggle at all. There's a Medivac moving out, but if Moon sees it, which he, oops, that was Bomber's vision. Bomber can see his own Medivac. But wow, it looks like Bomber will lose this Medivac, almost doing no damage, and at the right, Bomber really unable to put any more pressure on Moon, who's taking a 5th base.
Indeed he is, and that Medivac is forced to retreat. Moon did see it earlier, but has complete control. And I'm not sure really that Bomber, I'm just looking in his vision, he had no idea what style that Moon was going for. Was it an Infestor-based play? Was it a Mutalisk play? And because of that lack of knowing what was going on, he went ahead and lost a lot to that Mutalisk play. And income the Mutalisk around the right-hand side. Bomber, very aggressive with his command center building, is gearing up to take a 4th not so long away from here.
Man, Bomber is just going for a straight-up macro game. We see the Zerglings trying to squeeze in, but look at this brilliant placement by Bomber, locking down the front, locking down his choke, having tanks everywhere along the map. His 2nd factory is down, producing Marines by the bucket load, and this is the Bomber that almost took down Nest T, taking these 3 bases, going into heavy macro mode. Ooh, missile turrets hidden in the trees, no Thor in sight. It's going to have to be an all-Marine defense. Moon does have to retreat, but Bomber is in a really rough spot. How can he move cross-map? His opponent already getting a hive.
And we need to see more of that harassment from Moon in this game if he wants to take the win for sure. I mean, we've only had that one small, kind of harassment there. There are so many areas for him to try to pop into. This not being one of them. There are Marines and turrets here taking a lot of hits.
Looks like he will pick off those Marines, but you never want to trade Mutalisks for Marines, as Marines are mineral only. Mutalisks cost a ton of gas. Bomber very happy to make that exchange, and look at this tank count up to 8 right now. Has lifted that 4th orbital command. Can move it up north, upgrade it into a planetary fortress. We see all these hatches from Moon starting to stockpile larvae. He is at 185 food, and there's the perfect scan from the Terran player. That's going to be the big signal that Bomber needs to move out fast and deal the damage to close the game out before Broodlords come up.
And yeah, he will be moving out now. And in the background, we'll probably go ahead and take that 4th base. Moon coming into the natural again. Turrets in location here. And very smart play from both players so far. The great defense from Bomber, though, which is bringing him back into this game. We have 62 SCVs versus, oh my god, 107 drones. That is a lot.
106 right now, just built himself some extra expansions, creep spread, brilliantly extending far out, and this is an amazing technique pioneered largely by Nest T. What we're going to see come out of Moon is he is going to throw down 20-some spine crawlers in the middle of the map. That is how he was going to free up the food for the Broodlords and buy himself time against this killer push. It would be the exact way that Bomber lost against Nest T in the GSL Super Tournament. There is the 4th base established now for Bomber. What can Moon do with this force other than counter-attack? He desperately needs to get up that greater spire.
And Moon letting Bomber here expand a little bit too easy, I feel. And now he moves in, and this is horrible.
Oh, thank God he left before losing too many of those Zerglings. But this may have just been a play from Moon to try to free up some food. Oh no. Marines out of position, losing a lot of them, but again, do not trade Marines, or excuse me, do not trade Mutalisks for Marines. You want to keep that Mutalisk count as high as you can.
And the timing of the Ghosts and the Vikings is impeccable, really. I mean, look at this. Just as the Greatest Spire finishes, he has all these ready to combat those Broodlords that he's anticipating for. 9 Corruptors now being made, and we also have personal cloaking for those Ghosts. And once they build up enough energy, that's going to be extremely surprising for Moon, because he's going to be moving across the map with these Broodlords. Then all of a sudden, invisible Ghosts are going to really take all those Broodlords down very fast.
I'm still curious why we're seeing 100 drones from Moon in this matchup. That can actually be a huge killer. It looks like Moon is going to be spending a lot of his food on these spine crawlers, going to free up a little bit so that way he can begin maxing up on Broodlords. And Moon brilliantly taking all geysers. I mean, if you're up against a Zerg that has, it looks like going to be 12 to 16 geysers up and running. But look at this Diapollo, the trademark Moon play. Oh, getting perfectly scammed by Bomber.
Very nice play there by Bomber. And Moon just cannot break through this defense of Bomber. It's so strong. And in come this harassment with these Mutalisks. And
you do want to trade Banelings for Marines. That is what they were designed to do. The Ghosts get picked off. Viking count getting eliminated as well. And what is Moon doing with his freed up food? It's going to be 9 Broodlords. Wow. Now remaxing 46 Zerglings on the way. Moon is in a good position. Can Bomber pull a miracle with his incredible macro setup?
I don't think we actually gave enough credit to that attack by Moon. And just looking at it again, he moved into the back of that natural with Mutalisks, forcing the Marines to come back and defend, and then countered that with the Banelings. I thought that was an excellent play there by Moon. And all these Broodlords are now out, and an Ultralisk Cavern about to finish. More Banelings being morphed here for Moon. But very solid macro by both players so far. 94 drones versus 62 SCVs, 166 food for Bomber after losing a lot of those Marines versus the maxed out Moon.
Such a smart play by Moon. After he did all this damage, what did he do? Absolutely nothing but expanding, teching up more, getting more upgrades, letting Bomber wait around, and now the Broodlords finally finishing, starting to pick off that north expansion. What can Bomber hope to do? He has a lot of Vikings out, and Ghosts are going to join into the fray. SCV's beginning to mine at the Planetary Fortress, trying to repair it as best that they can. The Mutalisks beginning to sweep in. Oh no! Moon getting sloppy with his Mutalisks again, exactly as he did in the Thorzane series. Now we're seeing the Vikings begin to pick off those Broodlords. Oh no, is Moon really going to lose all of these units? This could be a huge misstep, and the Banelings roll in, but don't quite do the damage that they need to do. These Broodlords are all getting cleaned up.
Wow, and the snipes coming from the Ghosts, and the Broodlords leave this game, and Bomber defends his Planetary Fortress, which is what Moon wanted to do, and great tech switch here by Moon's going into Ling and Ultralisk with some Infestors.
I'm still a little worried about Moon. I mean, I don't mind a switch from Broodlords to Ultralisks, but after you've spent that much money, I mean, Moon suddenly, the fact that he has all these expansions, not quite helping as much now that he doesn't have a controlling army. The Zerglings are going to swing forward, and it looks like a huge counterattack. Can he unburrow in time? No, he does not. He manages to only lift up one supply depot. Moon brilliantly knowing exactly how to continue to put Bomber in an extreme defensive mode, but look at all the units that were in the main. The Zerglings ripping apart the bottom right expo.
Wow, they're doing so much damage here, and Moon does not care if they all die. He is going to max out straight again because he has the entire map. Look how many expansions on the minimap he has. And he can remax very easily here, back up to 200, and a lot more of these Ultralisks are being made. And we are seeing the strength of Moon later on. He has complete vision all over the map.
And what is this Ghost going to do? Well, there is one nuclear missile finished for Bomber. If he makes a push and drops a nuke at the same time, that could be huge. Keep in mind, this little nice V flock of Banelings still planted, burrowed safely. Can Bomber get off a good nuke? The one disadvantage of all these spread out expos is how hard it is to cover all of them. And there it looks like one Ghost is advancing forward. Where is the nuke going down?
On the top right, or top middle position here, the nuke is going to go down. No drones are going to be lost though, and not really going to do that much damage, but another Ghost is in position in the bottom left-hand side.
It will end up uncloaking the Vikings, doing some good damage, but the infested Terrans were able to pick off some of these Vikings. Bomber is in a rough spot, has almost no money, still adding on more barracks, but this is essentially it for Bomber.
And we have a drop here on the right-hand side, just north of his 4th planetary fortress, and doing a lot of damage to this expansion here, while Moon goes straight through the middle.
Oh, Moon rushing through with all of his units. A drop at the left and the key lift up on the supply depots. This expansion and the top is probably going to go down, but the Ultralisk streaming in the front. Does Bomber have enough units? He has these Hero Thors trying to do some sort of saving grace, and there's the nuke at the left expansion. Bomber all over the place. It will be taking out these expansions. Can he survive all of this pressure? And it looks like, wow, Moon does manage to spot it. The nuke is going to fall, but we do see that this main is looking very, very rough for Bomber.
And a drop on the left-hand side, not only with that nuke, though, just right off the nuke, we had a big drop taking out another hatchery here. Complete harassment by Bomber, but does he have the economy to back it up with? Lings, Infested Terrans, and Ultralisks are in the main, though, doing a lot of damage, but great use of those, these snipers doing a lot of damage and income. More Lings here.
Uh-oh, and it looks like Bomber might do a miracle defense. A couple of infestors in the main throwing down a pair of those infested swarm eggs, but we see more nukes going down.
And we have another snipe of a hatchery in the north location. Bomber taking out so many hatcheries to slow down the economy of Moon. And we can tell that it's happening because he's only at 145 supply versus 140 of Bomber himself.
Bomber exploding forward, has been passive all game long, doing drops left and right, but Moon is starting to recognize, trying to defend, but with all these locations, these are all vulnerabilities for the Zerg, and it looks like this is going to go down, but there's Banelings in the center. Will these tanks realize, or will this be another key unburrow for Bomber?
And very crazy game. Actually, so much action all over the map, it's hard to keep focus of it all. And there are borrowed infestors inside the main of Bomber, and borrowed Banelings there as well, as you mentioned, but more Lings, Mulis, and Ultralisks are swinging down the left-hand side here. And Bomber does try to expand in the south location, but oh, this is definitely a try to drag some Marines into this Baneling bomb here. Look how Moon's moving his Mutalisks.
Oh, and it looks like he might not fall for it. He's trying to pick these off. Bomber actually getting a little distracted, not recognizing. And there he's going to walk right on over it. And the huge unburrow. And it looks like all the units at the bottom.
And at the same time, we do have this lift up from this command center. And that's really hard because Bomber, looking over, he has no mining bases left. This is the only base he can mine from. And if it goes down to these Mutalisks, that would be horrible for Bomber.
Now Bomber does have 2 nukes out right now. We see that he can continue to apply pressure, more Banelings going down, but Bomber will have to pull back with these. There is yet another nuke going at the top left. Does Moon see it? Uh-oh, he hasn't begun to move out yet. Looks like his extractor is finishing. Oh no, this would be such a big hit, and it looks like it's gonna fall in. Only getting 2 drones, but down to 59 health.
Wow, this harassment technique from Bomber in this game is really incredible. Another Ghost, Cloak Ghost is moving up the north of the map to getting location. And looking at the food count now, 181 versus 165. The supply count, the drone count is 83 drones versus 37 SCVs. And once again, Moon is scouting that south location, seeing there is no base there. And slowly but surely, Bomber is running out of resources, Sean.
In the income tab, we see essentially nothing is able to be mined. We see that a nuke is going off on the map. It is not at any of these expansions. Where is the nuke going down?
On the main, well, just south of the main. And just gets rid of the extractor and a couple of drones there. But not too much damage done there. Just taking a bit of gas away from Moon. But look at his resources in the bank. 2,000 and 2,600 gas. Even if he loses his complete army now, he could reinforce very easily. The upgrades of Bomber, though, are 3-3 for these Marine and Marauders with +2 on these tanks. And it looks like Moon is gearing up for a very, very large attack here down at this south location.
Bomber, who's been holding on all game long, knows exactly where he wants his advantage to be. He's hoping that he can just force Moon to engage in worse spots, and EMPs get everything, and the Marauders absorb all the hits. This is the move that Bomber has been waiting for all game long, and now the Marines dart forward, and a huge unburrow. Bomber looked like he had the advantage for a split second, but those burrowed banelings are so huge in this game. But it looks like Bomber is not giving up yet. In the unit counting station, we see almost all of Moon's food is drones. There's all the Mutals trying to pick off the SCVs. The bottom expansion finally lands. But can Moon pull this game off with Bomber just obliterating these bottom expansions?
He is indeed, but Moon does have the top right expansions running. And now Moon is recollecting his forces again. 180 food versus 100 food. And Bomber still not mining long distance manages. And the Mutals are going to pick off all these SCVs. And Bomber just has this handful of units in the bottom left-hand side. And more burrowed banelings.
Banelings burrowed again, thwarting this push attempt by Bomber. Moon had a huge lead, threatened to lose it, but no. Moon will be able to close off this push at the bottom left. He has lost his expansions, but man, Moon just has too many units. The Thor getting some big shots off, but it is not enough. Bomber getting cleaned up, and Moon with an impressive long-term gameplay.
Wiping the floor in this game. Bomber not giving up though, is moving to the north location here, but we'll be surprised when he finds out that this base has been mining for a long time. And Moon in a comfortable position at the moment to take the second game. It's going to take a miracle comeback from Bomber here. But like we've mentioned multiple times throughout this tournament, Bomber could very well be trying to wear out Moon in this location.
It looks like Bomber wants to share the expansion. I think he can actually fit here. And maybe mine mules long range from here. That will be hard with those spine crawlers there. And oh man, it looks like he is just going in for the kill. We hear a nuke goes off, and it will be at this top expansion. Looks like he's trying to pick it off, but with the armor upgrade, oh, does it even matter? The main getting overrun. Moon with the maxed army. Bomber at 37, and there's the good games.
Wow.
Wow. Bomber losing that game, and you know what? Moon had it won very early on with that huge Ling Baneling pressure, and amazing to think it took that long for Moon to close it out, a 37-minute long game.
I can't believe that. And Moon just about holding on to the huge advantage he gained in that early stages of the game. But the real question is, if Bomber in this third final game does not go down to a disadvantage like that in the early stages of the game, does Moon have the skill to take Bomber out of the tournament?
Interesting to note, in those late stages of the game, Bomber knows exactly how to force his way back into a game with the drops, with the nukes, and interestingly, the only thing that allowed him to lose that game were the burrowed banelings. I mean, probably killing 40 or 50 Marines, and if those were able to stay alive, I guarantee you, Bomber could have pulled an amazing comeback at the 30-minute mark.
I mean, on large maps like Tal'Darim, Alta, it's actually so hard to fight against borrowed banelings, and I'm surprised that Terran players, and I think it will start to happen soon, is they will start to incorporate Ravens into their play, just like in StarCraft 1 versus Lurkers, you had to have science vessels, and so I feel that Ravens will start to become a large play, and already some European Terrans are starting to use Ravens later stages of the game. So the next map, the final deciding map, Sean, is going to be on TSL 3 Metalopolis.